I actually want to talk to you about the Golden Girls. Yeah, which is a very awkward transition. From now you guys have a visual picture, I'm sure, or now you do. But the Golden Girls is a delightful show. Thank you for the whooping. Delightful show. And it was about 4 older ladies that were young at heart, and they would thank each other every week for being friends. And they would have great adventures in their very low-budget set. I, to be honest, had a crush on Blanche. I know many of you did, / do. And I actually used to watch the episodes hoping it'd be one of the ones where she would be in her purple nightgown. She'd come out. Okay, I'm not going to do a Blanche impression. But yeah, those of you who know, it's like blazed in memory. And those of you who don't know, please don't judge me, because I was born in the 80s, and we didn't have very much. It was a dark age before this internet business. Now people who are like 25 here and younger, you people, by the time you were 12, you had, I'm sure you'd seen every My Little Pony porn position that you could possibly imagine. And I'm sure that you'd seen Disney characters doing things to other Disney characters that, I didn't know was possible until I was 30. But back then, I don't know if some of you remember this, what we had back in the 90s was scrambled porn. Which makes no sense probably to some of you, but what it was if you hadn't paid for something, it was still on your TV strangely, but the audio worked perfectly, but the visual was all scrambled. It was like, you'd think that you were watching a naked person, and then their breast would kind of like mold, like it was like a lava lamp. It would go up to the top of the screen and come down. It was like Picasso. This is what we had to work with back then, and that was it basically until one glorious day where my parents came home, and I'm about 16 and my brother's 13. And they got one of those black boxes, those illegal black boxes from the 90s that, this is really dating me, this story. But those boxes where you could have the legal channels, of all the satellite channels and all the porn channels. So my brother and I, who were both very much in puberty, me, I'm well in there, Daniel's he's just really getting a feel of it, if you will. And we're very excited about this. But of course, my parents put the parental lock on, so we couldn't access those channels. It was a 4-digit combination. So Daniel and I go upstairs to his room and close the door, and we're just really mad that this box has defeated us. We're not going to be defeated by a machine. So we decide we're going to outsmart the box. Okay. What happens is that we close the door, we put on the lights really low to make it more dramatic, I guess. And we're like, okay, we're going to think this through. We could think this through. Now, this is the only time in my life that I actually use math that's not in the classroom. But we're like, our brains are sizzling, and we're like, all right, it's a 4-digit combination. That's 9,999 possibilities, right? That's doable. That's totally doable when you've got time. And when you're a teenager in the suburbs, you've got a lot of time. So we start calculating. We get out a pen and a pencil and a calculator, because we didn't have iPhones back then. And we're like, okay, 9,999. If we do 100 each per day, then in 50 days we'll have done it, which is, it's not that bad. And then we're trying to pump ourselves up. We're like, well, if we divide that in 2, we have a 50% chance of doing it in 25 days, which is less than a month. We'll be watching porn in no time, right? And this is, we were really proud of ourselves. For all the teachers out there, if you use nudity for your math, kids will take to it if they're of a certain age. I recommend this without thinking it through. So we're really excited, and we give each other a little silent nod, and we sleep very peacefully that night. The next day, we wake up and get the remote control, make sure our parents aren't around, and I start 0, 0, 0, 1. And like when you buy a lottery ticket, you know you're going to win. but you don't. So it's like 0001, didn't work. 0002, didn't work. I do my 100, and then I pass it off to Daniel, and Daniel does his 100. And we know we're not going to get it so easily. So we feel good. We know we put in a hard day's work, and we've got a plan. We've got a 200 per day plan. So the next day I do my 100, and then I find Daniel in the hallway, and I slyly pass him the remote control, and it's like we're in prison, and I'm giving him a little pickaxe so he can go behind the poster, and we could dig our way to freedom. So we put in another 200 each, and that night we go to sleep peacefully. And the next day, we're kind of like, we're like inmates, where we're lying on our backs talking to each other, being like, what are you going to do when we crack this code? Yeah, we both had the same idea. So we do our 200. The next day, we're starting to get impatient, so we think, okay, we'll do it. We could do 150 each. So we do 150 each. Around a week and a half in, we haven't cracked the code, and we're starting to get a little antsy and starting to question each other and get on each other's nerves. We're like, you sure you did your numbers properly? Like, yeah, 7001, 7002. I got it. Like, you sure? Because if you didn't do it properly, we're going to get to 10,000, and we're not going to have done it. This will all be worthless. But if we pull this off, of course, this will be the greatest thing that anyone's ever done. We're starting to really get on each other's nerves. And we're questioning each other, and we're looking out over each other's shoulders. We're like, I don't think you pressed hard enough on that 3 over there. My parents are wondering why the two of us are like not getting along anymore. So about 3 weeks in, we're kind of bickering, and I'm like 762, 763, and it unlocks 763, and we're like taken aback, and we go and we run and we close the door, and we go and we turn on one of those channels, and our eyes are opened, and sure enough, I don't know why I'm whispering, but there's porn. There's people having sex, okay, which was delightful, and like the next year of my life is the best year of my life. Feels good to tell you guys, because my parents never knew, and I've never told anyone. Feels good to get this off my chest. which is actually a very popular line from mid-90s porn movies. Yeah, thank you.